Hello everyone, Rurikhan here coming at you with another episode of the Kast. This is obviously the show where I usually tell you guys what I've been up to recently, and even though I want to do this show on a weekly basis, it seems that a monthly basis is the best I can do at the moment because of all the other content that I'm constantly working on and pretty much just out of sheer tiredness. Because I've been pretty much dead tired recently because of all the March insanity that has happened. And I will be talking about all of that in a couple of minutes because as per usual, I'm going to start the show with the shout outs for all the people that have been supporting the show. So let's get started with that. The very first shout out goes out to Final Zeet for donating for the cause. Thank you very much, my good sir. The next shout out goes to SETTLWLVS because I don't know how I would pronounce that. For donating Call of Juarez Gunslinger, which is actually a game I've been kind of curious to check out. And a shout out to Simon Karlstrom for also donating to the cause. Thank you very much, my good sir. Next up, we're going to be talking about the newest bout of patrons. I'm not sure if I should say Patreons or patrons. I think you say patrons. I think that's what you're supposed to say. But for those of you who don't know what this Patreon thing is, you can check out a link in the description. There's going to be on pretty much every video that I've been uploading recently, there's at the very bottom of the description because I don't like spamming people with links at the top of descriptions unless it's links that are relevant to the video at hand. But at the very bottom of the description of every video, there's a link to Patreon, my Patreon page. So there's a video there that tells you all about Patreon. If you are curious to check that out, you can check that link. But anyways, the new patrons are, and these are as per usual in order of which they've started contributing. They are Demian Ivanov, Christian Radu, Pedro Cabo, or I actually should say Pedro Cabo because it's a Portuguese name. At least it sounds Portuguese. Kent Taylor, Luongo 27, Dave Maxwell, and Daniel Fletcher. So thank you very much, good sirs. Your patronage is highly, highly appreciated, and it definitely a big help. So thank you very much. Now, let's get started with the actual topics for the show. So today, the first thing I wanted to address was the madness that was the month of March. Like, there was so many releases on the month of March. It was like the gaming, just like gaming companies in general, gaming developers, gaming publishers, they will all just like push everything out, put everything out in March, everything. We had Infamous Second Son, which was a blast. I actually played that one all the way. I indulged myself a little bit on that one. I'll tell you that. We had Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls, which we will be talking more about further into the show. We had... What else did we had? I mean, we had so much stuff. It's like my mind is blanking at this point. We had Final Fantasy X, which I had to check out. It was pretty cool, even though it's probably not a game I'm going to see all the way through to the end because I have so much other stuff on my plate right now. We obviously had Dark Souls, which is still, well, actually, by the time you guys see this video, it's probably the last episode of this series will have probably gone up. Yeah, I think that by the time you guys see this video, the last episode of the playthrough will be up, which we're also going to be talking quite a bit about that in today's show. And we had just a bunch of more stuff. Just so much stuff came through in March that it was mind-blowing all the way up until the end. It's only recently started kind of like slowing down a little bit with the releases and the stuff that I've been receiving. And I'm just like... I've been actually catching up a little bit on some sleep, even though some days I just still don't sleep at all, and then the other days I'll just sleep a whole bunch and still wake up tired as all hell. So I haven't actually been working all that much recently, as much as I've just been playing Diablo 3. Yeah, that's I know that's not good. I mean, but there have been several days where I've just played Diablo 3 up until 6 a.m. Yeah, complete and utter insanity, and it is something that I would probably never really saw myself do after the way that Diablo 3 did. But we'll be addressing all that in a couple of minutes here. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that March was an insane month in both in good ways and in bad ways because it completely burned me out like on work because I did so much stuff that I can't even remember a lot of it. It was just like a blur. It was like, boom. As a matter of fact, sometimes I would be talking to people and they'd be like, well, you're doing what? How many games at the same time? And I was like, yeah, it's friggin' awesome, man. It's like completely burning myself out. But yeah, also something that you guys might have noticed recently is that on the first impressions videos, I've been changing the names on those, on the more recent ones. I'm not going to go back and change the old ones because I could. It's not that it's hard or anything. It's just like I've just decided to make this switch, which is on the titles. Instead of calling them first impressions, because they're not necessarily just first impressions. I mean, first impressions, it's like when you start up a game for the very first time, and you play a little bit and you tell about how you feel in regards to that game. And the thing is, a lot of the games that I play, it's like if I was to boot them up and just play for an hour, it wouldn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, like for instance, picture this. Instead of me playing for a while and then showing you a gameplay section of Final Fantasy X, I would play through the first hour. It would just be cutscene after cutscene after cutscene, and you'd probably see very little to no gameplay at all. So there's that. So I started calling them gameplay impressions. And that also is kind of like, it makes a lot more sense for the audience that I'm trying to pick up for these videos, because I'm trying to pick up for audience that's actually looking for gameplay and not necessarily reviews and all that stuff. Because I could call reviews to my videos, but I don't think it makes a lot of sense, because when people search for reviews, they're searching for stuff like the IGN reviews of 5 minutes, and that's obviously not what I do, and it's not what I intend to do. So I'm hoping that this will help in that regard, and I also feel that it describes the videos that I've been making in regards to the gameplay impressions that I do. I feel that it describes them a lot better, but I could be wrong. I'm not sure. That's just the way that I personally feel. So next up, what I want to talk about is Dark Souls 2. And I have quite a bit to talk about Dark Souls 2 because I've been, I kind of stopped doing that, but at the very start, when I started seeing like the slew of comments, they were just like hateful, resentful comments, people saying, oh, I can't watch, you're making me sick. It's like, how is watching a video making you sick, and why do you keep watching them then? Like, because it's like you'd have the comment from the same person across like 5, 6, 7, 8 videos in a row, just like saying, oh my God, you're terrible. Why? I can't watch this. And yet they would go on to the next video and watch it all over again, and go on to the next one and watch it again. And yeah, that was definitely an interesting experience. And it got to a point where I was just saying, oh my God, the Dark Souls 2 community is just crap right now. What the fuck is going on? And I actually owe some people an apology for that, because it is not the Dark Souls 2 community. It is not the Dark Souls. How should I put this? It is not the Dark Souls community itself. It is a very, 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 very small minority. And how do I come about to this conclusion? Well, here's the thing. I just look at my videos and I look at the like to dislike ratio. That's the way that I've kind of started thinking about this. And I'm like, so if the community at large is not enjoying my videos, because this is the way that I think about stuff. If they're not enjoying it, I'm just not going to do it. I don't care. It's like, well, I do care a lot, because I really enjoyed sharing my experiences in Dark Souls with people. But if it was no longer necessary, I would be fine just experiencing Dark Souls by myself and just giving you gameplay impressions or whatever and be done with it. So I was thinking about this stuff as I started releasing the videos onto YouTube. And I was thinking about it really, really hard, like every day that I would go onto the videos. Because you guys might not know this, at least some of you guys, because I've had a lot of new people come to the channel. But I read every single comment posted on every single video I ever make. And you guys might be wondering, how do you do that? And the thing is, I don't go to my channel and like look at every video and then see the comments. No, it's like I have it set up so that it sends all the comments to my email. And then I have my email instantly separate those comments onto a section of its own, because otherwise my inbox would be completely full all the time. Gmail is actually really, really good. I mean, it almost sounds like I'm being sponsored by Google or something, but no, it's just that Gmail is really, really good for sorting out through your emails and shit. So I have a specific section where everything that YouTube sends me from comments gets sent to that section. So regardless if you make a comment on a video that I released yesterday or a video that I released 2 years ago, it's going to show up in my inbox. and I'm going to go there and I'm going to look. And what happened with Dark Souls 2 is that I wasn't reading the Dark Souls 2 comments for quite some time because, as I told you guys, I didn't want it to be spoiled. And that obviously led to the whole fiasco of the 4 ring slots because, I mean, that was like, whatever. People can criticize me all they want about the 4 ring slots. What actually sucks is that I made a video about it and people still kept going at it because some people just did not watch that video, I guess. I don't know, but people still kept. I mean, to this day, I'm receiving messages all the time, like all the time. You guys might think, oh, you got a little bit of flack for a while, but then it went away. No, you don't get it. Like if I go to I just checked my YouTube comments like, I don't know, 20 minutes ago. If I go there now, there's going to be at least one comment in there mentioning the 4 ring slots. And that's not even the worst of it. The worst of it comes when people are telling me that I'm playing badly and that they can play 10 times better than me because they've watched either ENB's videos or they bought the guide or whatever the fuck. And it's like, even if they just flat out play better than me by principle, like, why do I even give 2 fucks about whether or not you play better than me? It seems that it's like a dick measuring competition these days because everybody's like, oh, no, I can do this better. No, I can do this better. And I think that people really need to maybe go back and check out the very first videos I ever did on Dark Souls. And as a matter of fact, you can even check out the first videos I ever did on anything. Because my very first series ever was in World of Warcraft. And the interesting thing about those series is that I never came at people with an attitude of like, oh, I'm this fucking amazing gamer. I know everything about this goddamn game. I'm the best in the world. No. The approach that I usually take is I want to show you guys this thing, which a lot of people consider that it's actually hard. And I want to show you guys that it's not that hard and that anybody can do it. This is the approach that I usually bring to my videos. I never bring the approach of, oh, I'm this friggin' badass. Have I done challenge runs in the past? Yeah, I didn't do it to prove a point. I made those challenge runs because I wanted to challenge myself. And I didn't do them from bragging rights or anything like that. I don't give a damn. And people seem to, again, bring out this idea that like, oh no, you holding me up to these standards that I don't even hold myself up to. And it's like, whatever. It's getting a little bit confusing, I know. But the point of it is, the reason I make Dark Souls videos is, 1, I love Dark Souls. I still think it's the best franchise I've ever played in my life. And 2, I try to bring new people to the Dark Souls franchise. And the reason I try to bring new people is because I feel that this game is so good, and yet there is this stigma around it that a lot of people seem to think, this game is supposed to be the hardest game in the fucking world. It's not. It is not the hardest game in the world at all. It is challenging. Yes, it is challenging indeed, and it is challenging but fair, which is something that I've always said. Dark Souls is challenging but fair. And the approach that I've always brought to the Souls games has been designed around bringing more people into the game. And now you guys are going to say, so you're getting paid by Namco? No, I just really like the game. That's all there is to it, because these days people see someone talking about a game on YouTube and it's instantly like, oh, that guy's in the pocket of that company. And it's like, if you guys are curious if I've ever gotten paid to do a game, there is one game that I've covered in my channel, which was a paid promotion. One game, Guns of Icarus. I've made 3 videos about it. As a matter of fact, 2 of those videos were, well, actually 2. Was it? Yeah, I did the highlight video. So one of those videos was the video where I actually met Stylosa and Kirioth, and it was amazing. I love working with those guys these days, the Unit Lost guys. And I also met Mariel, and I met Kessel Caden, Malekith Skadi, which we also did a couple of collabs. And it's like, I loved working with those guys, and I loved meeting those guys because it's interesting knowing people that are about, the same level of subscribers, views, that kind of stuff as me, because they usually want to work on projects together and we usually share information. So that was the one game that I was given a paid promotion opportunity. I've never ever been given any other paid promotion opportunities in my channel. And if you guys go and look at the first impressions of that game, it's not like I'm praising the crap out of it. I'm just like telling you guys normal first impressions. And that was the only ever paid promotion I've had on the channel. What else? Yeah, but as I was saying, it's just like these days, everybody is suspicious of everybody on YouTube. Like there's this big friggin' mafia going about. And maybe there is. I'm not aware of it because I'm not looking into it that hard and I just don't care that much. I've never gotten into this for the politics and I've never gotten into this for the drama. I've gotten into this for the passion that I've had about making videos about video games, and that passion just happened to really translate into Dark Souls, and that's the reason why I support Dark Souls as much as I do. But as I was saying about the vocal minority thing, the reason why I feel it's a vocal minority is because you would look at my videos and I think that maybe 1 or 2 of them up until this point have more than 10 dislikes to a ratio of, I don't know, maybe an average of 150 likes. So it's like it's a very, very small minority, particularly because of the number of views these videos have been getting. I mean, obviously Dark Souls 2 has been getting consistently high views on my channel. So it's like, it's this very small minority of people that are really, really upset because the majority of the Dark Souls 2 community is just enjoying the videos and they don't even comment on it. And I respect that. It's like, look, it's your choice whether you choose to comment on a video or not. They don't even comment. They don't even like or dislike, whatever. They just watch and they just enjoy. And there's a lot of YouTube users like that. And I was kind of like sticking everybody in the same bag when I started reading these comments. I was like putting everyone in the same bag and saying, oh my God, the Dark Souls 2 community has gone to hell. It's all over. And it's like, it's not. It's just there's a vocal minority now that think that they're some hot shit and they're going to go around everybody's videos. Like everybody that I know that does Dark Souls 2 videos has been saying that they have people on their videos just talking trash all the fucking time. And I've even heard people say that people go to ENB's videos and they even talk trash there. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? You know, if not even ENB can make it, I don't know, man. I just don't know anymore. But it is an interesting topic and an interesting thing that's happened because in case people don't realize this, the fact that there's so much negativity around this vocal minority is actually turning off newcomers to the game. Like I was talking to Malakat Skadi and I was telling him about Dark Souls 2 and how it's awesome and I love it and I think it's an amazing game. And he's telling me that, yes, I'm going to do some coverage on that, but I'm going to turn off my comment section. So as you can see, he's just like, I'm going to turn off my comment section straight from the get-go because he doesn't want to have to deal with that shit. And to be honest, I'm almost thinking if that's not something that I myself am going to do in the future with Dark Souls 2 content because it's just so toxic out there. Because here's the thing, like I told you guys, I didn't watch the comments at the start, right? I didn't read any of the comments at the start of Dark Souls 2. So what happened? So since I didn't read any of it, eventually when I finished the game, I went back because I wanted to, you know, keep on with my whole attitude of reading every single comment that ever hits my channel. So one night, I'm like, okay, I finished it. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to read all these comments. So I start reading the comments and I kid you not, I was feeling sick. Like it was literally just feeling physically bad. Because I was like, oh man, it's just so much bile. I was getting like friggin' heartburn. I'm not even kidding you guys. You guys might think, oh, no, I'm not exaggerating at all. It was really, really bad. And I was reading through all of that and I was just like, you know, putting myself through. You guys, those of you who follow me on social streams, you guys might have noticed that I was really like just getting frustrated. I put myself through all of that abuse and I was like, okay, that was a one-time thing. It seems like things are improving, but no, it kept getting gradually worse and worse and worse and worse. And it actually got to a point where last week I was just like, you know what? I'm sorry. I don't deserve this abuse because just because I'm, doing something which is my passion, I don't think I deserve all of this abuse from all of these people. And so I decided it was time to stop. And I basically just stopped going after those particular comments on the blind playthrough. And I know that it is something that I never really wanted to have to do, but it does get you to a point where I myself was feeling a little bit affected by it, as in it was actually turning me off of the game, as well as not only that, it was really just putting me in a really bad state, like mentally, because I was just like, man, there's all this negativity around this content that I just did. And also, sorry guys, I had to do a little bit of a cut there. You guys probably noticed that because a friend of mine came over and we played some Toki then. Having a blast with that particular title. Man, Toki then. Gonna have to talk a little bit more about that. But yeah, sorry, I did have to do a little bit of a cut here. But yeah, so I got to a point where I just stopped reading it. As a matter of fact, I was gonna do a live stream to celebrate that, but my fucking ISP did not cooperate with me, so that ended up not really happening, because I'm not sure if it was my ISP or if it was Twitch messing up, because Twitch was also having some kind of a tournament. So for some reason, I couldn't stream at more than 800 kbits, which was obviously not enough for a decent quality stream. But yeah, that happened. And I realized that, like, this is actually really bad for the people that I talk about Dark Souls, people that I tell about Dark Souls, because people get turned off by this kind of stuff, by this elitist minority that seems to have developed within Dark Souls 2 community. And it is a shame, but yeah. So in terms of my next playthrough, which I know that a lot of you guys are probably wondering, what is the next thing that I'm going to do in regards to Dark Souls 2? And I'm not 100% sure what the next playthrough is going to be about, because I just don't know. I haven't really thought of a build that I really want to do, because I really enjoyed the Faith build. And I wanted to do a strength build, but what happens is I wanted to do a strength build with an axe. But I've been looking at, the really big axes, like two-hander axe. You have the Gurm Great Axe, which looks awesome. But in terms of a weapon, either I'm seeing things wrong or it's just garbage. Because, like, you compare it with any other strength weapon, like, for instance, you got the Bam Bam Stick, which Palitime is using. You got the Great Sword. You got all these other weapons that are really, really great. And it feels like the Gurm Great Axe is just a terrible weapon. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to use it to actually test it out. But stat-wise, it's like it's got the same poise damage as one of the Bam Bam Sticks, either the actual Bam Bam Stick or the crappy one. And for those of you who don't know what the Bam Bam Stick is, it's the Great Club, the one that looks like a tree trunk. And you guys should know what I mean when I say the Bam Bam Stick, really, because if you don't, you need to check out Palitime's channel. But yeah, those weapons aren't, how should I put this? It's like when you compare them to other strength weapons like the axe, it's got the same poise damage as other weapons. It's got a worse moveset, I want to say. And then on top of that, it does less damage for less scaling, and it's like, why? Why does it even exist? And then it's heavier. It's heavier than everything else. It's like 24 weight units. It's like, what the hell is it? And I don't get it. Like, if it made more poise damage, like, that would make some sense. Or if it had like a special move set where you could do something really cool, that would also make sense. But none of them, and the scaling is worse. So I don't know. I'll have to check and see what happens. But most likely, the next playthrough, the actual one that I will record and put on YouTube, is going to be on PC. Because, I mean, we're getting there, so it's almost time for the PC release. But I might do a live stream in between now and then if my ISP cooperates with me, which it didn't last time. So if that all comes together, I will hopefully do a live stream. I'm still not sure which build I'm going to do. We'll figure stuff out as we go along. But I still haven't really read anything online. I haven't checked the locations of weapons online. I haven't checked on lore online, anything like that. I haven't seen any of it. And I'm going to continue doing the playthroughs the way that I want to do them. And I'm probably not going to pay that much attention to the comment sections of future playthroughs until this elitist vocal minority moves on to whatever next game they wish to flame and create all kinds of disgusting discussions about how they're the best gamers in the world and all this other stuff. Because, like, I'm not into that stuff, guys, so just keep me the hell out of it. So if you didn't like watching the blind playthrough, you might not like watching some of the next stuff that's going to be coming down the pipe, because I want to continue to explore this game at my own leisurely pace, as I would advise everyone to do, as opposed to go in checking up everything online. That's my personal advice. People might either follow it, they might not follow it. It's up to each and every one of you, really. But yeah, that pretty much wraps us up in terms of Dark Souls 2. Hopefully I've answered most of your questions, and hopefully you guys aren't pissed off with the fact that I'm no longer reading those comments. It's just, I'm sorry, but that stuff was actually hindering me from getting work done, and to be honest, it wasn't worth my time. I realize that there's a lot of valuable comments there and a lot of people that are actually leaving interesting stuff in there, but there's just so much hate and negativity mixed in between that I can't afford to, I can't afford to bring myself down to that level, because I need to keep positive vibes, positive energy going to keep working on stuff. And my cell phone keeps ringing. It's like today's Conscast is a complete mess, so I'll have to apologize for that. But next topic that I want to talk about was Diablo 3. As I told you guys at the start of this show, I've been really addicted to Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. It has definitely been a good time that I've been having with that game, which is something that I did not expect. And I know that I've probably said this on a lot of videos. I did not expect to get hooked on Diablo. But for those of you who don't know, before playing the Souls franchise, the game that I would identify myself the most with is probably Diablo 2. And I know that I probably did a lot of content on World of Warcraft and never really did anything on Diablo 2, but I've always valued my time with Diablo 2 a little bit more than World of Warcraft, to be completely honest, because I was really into Diablo 2 a long, long time ago. And Diablo 3, now that they've gotten rid of the auction house, now that you're actually getting decent drops, and I'm actually getting to experiment with different builds, like I believe you guys will have seen or will see a video on the builds that I'm currently working on between my Barbarian and Crusader. Probably going to level up a Monk soon, because I want to get a Monk up as well, so that I can experiment with builds on that end, because I really like melee builds, as you guys probably aware. Probably going to do a Mage as well. The Demon Hunter and Witch Doctor, those two classes I'm not big fan on those. But yeah, I'm working on that, and that has been a lot of fun. Like I've spent many a nights just playing Diablo 3 because I've been hopelessly addicted to it, and it's just been very, very satisfying to fool around in that sandbox, because I haven't fooled around in it for quite some time. In terms of storyline, for those of you wondering about like the storyline of Diablo 3, I didn't like it. I didn't like the story one bit. And I know that like Stylos already said, oh, the story is complete garbage. I wouldn't go as far as to say that it's complete garbage, but I would say that like the story was actually somewhat interesting until the end. And then at the end, they just ruined everything for me. So I was just like, well, it is what it is. And I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. I'm just going to tell you that I personally didn't like it. And I get a feeling that probably a lot of people aren't going to like the story, but yeah. Wow, wheezing and everything. Allergies killing me. But apart from the storyline, like the content that you get with adventure mode, with the Nephilim rifts and all the other good stuff, that has just been ridiculously addicting. Now, the game that I was playing with my friend in between this video, Toki, which I've made one video on the channel. I plan on making a lot more videos on the channel. I'm just not sure how I'm going to go about doing them, but my plan for now is to just show you guys boss fights of Toki, because the boss fights are really, really cool. The weapon that I'm using, for those of you that are playing Toki, the weapon that I'm using the most is the sickle, which is a combination of an actual sickle. I think a lot of people will know what a sickle is. For those of you who don't know, it's the tool that they use to like grab wheat, right? To chop off wheat. You know what I'm saying? Like a hook, kind of like a scythe, but smaller. So that's a sickle, and then it's got a chain attached to it, and you can like throw the chain, hook up onto monsters, and then pull yourself up, and just it's really cool. You guys have to see some of the footage to actually enjoy it. I know that I think the first video that I did on Toki was with the fists Didn't like that at all. I actually, there's a tutorial that tells you about the different aspects of each weapon. And if I had to rate the weapons that I've liked the most so far, it would probably be sickle, and then spear, and then bow. Not a fan of the sword. I kind of dig the dual knives, but still not a big fan of that. The sword's pretty cool though. Don't get me wrong. Like those are all cool weapons, but I don't know. I just like those sets of weapons more. The bow also seems really interesting. I haven't really played a whole lot with it, but I do plan on making several types of weapons and using those to go through the game, because that is one of the appeals of that particular title, is fooling around with the weapons. And then you also have the matamas, which give you different fighting styles. I've been fooling around with a speed matama, which those are really, really good. Because like, since my character's thing is to just jump up on top of monsters and then constantly hook myself back into range and slashing and then hooking myself back into range, it takes a lot of stamina. So the speed ones kind of, they let your stamina regenerate a little bit faster. So that's really cool. And I know that I'm saying this, and to those of you who haven't watched any Tokiden at all, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I'm planning on putting a lot more Tokiden content into the channel. Like I said, we're going to be starting with the boss fights. For those of you that do know Tokiden, it's going to be like the Manhunter, the Wind Shredder, the big guy that I don't know his name, but he transforms into like a toad-looking thing. And then the other one, the dragon. I just did the dragon with my friend today. I'm not sure if it's a dragon. It's a bird, firebird, flamebird, whatever. I just did that with my friend, and that is a lot of fun. That is a lot of fun. As a matter of fact, I record all of it, but I'm not sure if I'm going to use it, because I might do live commentary instead, because it seems to be cooler. You guys seem to prefer live commentary as well, as opposed to post commentary. So, I actually recorded most of that. I might just even throw it up in the video, but I'm not sure if I will or not. But regardless of that, another series that a lot of you guys have been asking now that I have a Vita capture card is Soul Sacrifice. Definitely plan on making a Soul Sacrifice comeback to the channel now that I have the Vita to capture it properly, and I don't have to like have a camera behind me and all that. It's just this last month has been about Dark Souls 2, because a lot of people were excited about Dark Souls 2. A lot of people wanted to see the blind playthrough of Dark Souls 2, so I've been focusing mostly on Dark Souls 2, as well as the titles that have been releasing, like Infamous and all this other stuff that I've been getting. But yeah, things are starting to slow down a little bit, and I'm trying not to request too many titles to kind of overwhelm myself again, even though I just requested Broforce from Devolver Digital. I'm curious to take a look at that. And I just received a couple of more codes from PlayStation Portugal to have a look, but I'm trying not to stretch myself too thin so that I can focus myself a little bit more on Soul Sacrifice. Might even do a live stream on that. Not sure if that's going to happen or not. Something else that I'm trying to get a hold of is Ragnarok Odyssey Ace. I've been, these are the same guys that hooked me up with Dynasty Warriors and Yaiba. And Yaiba is another thing. Like, I don't get it. Why do people hate on Yaiba? I seem to get the same vibe that I've been getting from Devil May Cry, which is, it's like, oh, because it's got Ninja Gaiden in the title, it can't be a spinoff. And I'm like, what's the big deal? Come on, guys. It's not a bad game. I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's actually a pretty decent game. It's just, if you're expecting it to be, I don't know, Ninja Gaiden 4 or whatever Ninja Gaiden they're up to, it's not. It's a different thing. And it's not even canon lore, I don't think. It's just like complete and utter spinoff. And I thought the game was actually pretty fun. So I wish people would be a little bit more open about this. I mean, because it kind of makes me feel like, you know how people say all the time, it's like, Call of Duty is always the same thing. It's always the same thing. Call of Duty is always the same thing. It's like, it's the same engine, same graphics, same gameplay, same thing. And people bitch about that all the time. And then they go and do something with Ninja Gaiden, which is completely different from the previous Ninja Gaidens. And people are like, this isn't Ninja Gaiden. It's not the same thing. I don't like it. It's different. And it's like, so I don't get it. I know that I'm mixing kind of apples and oranges here, Call of Duty and Ninja Gaiden. But the point that I'm getting to is, look, guys, we can either have things that are different every now and then, or we can have things that are always the same. We can't have both. It doesn't work that way. So I don't know. It all depends on what kind of mentality you're up for and whatever. But yeah, I'm trying to get Ragnarok Odyssey Ace. It's from the same company that hooked me up with Dynasty Warriors. It's not a Tecmo Koei title. It's an Xseed title, but they also manage both Xseed and Tecmo. So I'm trying to get them to give me a key for Ragnarok Odyssey Ace, which is something that I'm really curious. And if you guys notice, we're something that I'm really looking towards to are 3 games that could basically be considered somewhat of Monster Hunter spin-offs or clones, so to speak. And yeah, you guys are probably noticing a little bit of a pattern, and that is because like I told you guys, I enjoyed the crap out of Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, and I wanted to play more titles like that, and that's what I'm doing because I don't own a Wii U, so I can't play Monster Hunter Tri, Ultimate, whatever. I don't plan on owning a 3DS because I know that graphics aren't everything, but I think that the graphics on the 3DS are just not up to par. And I don't know. I just don't know. I would love to play the actual Monster Hunter, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. So these are probably the next best things. And to be honest, Toki then has its own spin on it, which I'm not sure if I wouldn't prefer the kind of gameplay that I'm getting off of Toki then over the kind of gameplay that I would get on Monster Hunter. The thing is, I need to play a lot more Toki then to actually see if it's got like the longevity of a title like Monster Hunter, because it's definitely got the aspects of killing a monster, cutting off parts, and then harvesting those parts for materials, and then those materials you can use to forge weapons and stuff like that. But it doesn't have the aspect of like the consumables. Instead of the consumables, you have the Matama systems, which make things a little bit different. But Ragnarok Odyssey Ace is also kind of in that vein, and I would love to bring that to you to show you guys. Hopefully, we will be able to do that. Something that I'm also looking forward to, and I'm not sure if it's getting released or when it's getting released, it is Soul Sacrifice Delta, which is basically the improved version of Soul Sacrifice, which has already been released in Japan, but it has not been confirmed for the West, which is, why don't people buy these games in the West? I love this shit. I love it. I love this kind of, I don't know, I'm on some kind of weird Japanese vibe that is just like, I give me all the Japanese titles, all of them. But yeah. And then the final topic that I had to talk about is probably E3, because I've been asked if I'm going to go to E3 or not. Unfortunately, the Patreon campaign, even though I'm really appreciative of the people that have been contributing to the Patreon campaign, it has not had as much success as I would like. So in order for me to go to E3, I would probably have to stop doing YouTube for a while, which I'm not sure if I'm gonna. And what do I mean by this is I would have to, I don't know, find some kind of temp work or something to actually make enough money to pay for the hotel expenses and all that stuff, because YouTube and Patreon together still are not going to cover, not even close to what I would need for the E3 trip. Like, just so that you guys have an idea, the last time that I went to E3 because of all the last minute stuff, the plane tickets alone were $1,600. Plane tickets alone. Plus, still had to pay for a hotel. The hotel, which was ridiculously expensive, which my father paid for. Still haven't paid him back. So yeah, I'm not sure. And then there's another thing. Like, guys might think it's just about the money, but no. There's actually a couple of more variables in this equation. And the next variable would be, I'm not sure I can get a media pass. Yeah. Because stuff like E3 and Gamescom, you go there and you say, oh, I'm this YouTube channel, and they're like, we don't give a fuck. We don't support YouTube channels. We don't care about YouTube channels, and you can go fuck yourself. And you guys are probably wondering, whoa, how does that work? How did Total Biscuit and Angry Joe, how did they go? And how does, because they're YouTube channels as well. Well, they go through Maker. The same way that I was able to get a pass last time around was through Maker, but that was back in the days where I had someone else managing my channel, because currently there's another person, not the same person that was managing my channel previously. There's another person who is managing my channel, and yeah. Let's just say I'm not sure that he is going to be able to get me a media pass. I mean, one of the things that I've asked him to try and get me was something very simple. Never got back to me ever again. So I'm not sure how that is going to work. Yeah. So there's both the money and the pass situation, which I think I might get a pass from another source, but I'm not sure if I can or not, and it's definitely not a sure thing. So I don't know. I don't know. It's still very vague, my situation in terms of E3, which really sucks because I really wanted to go, really wanted to do some coverage on it, but not sure if it's going to be possible or not. I have to think on that for a while. Also, sorry, the show probably lost its flow at some point because usually I just make these one big show, and usually I can just like keep on going, and it seems like to have a certain flow to it. And probably this time, since I got cut in half there because I was interrupted, it might be a little bit off. But yeah, these are pretty much most of the news that I want to talk about. I'm looking around to see if I recognize anything that I want to talk about more, but not at this time. Not at this time. Oh, yeah. There's been some news for those of you who are curious. It seems that the Xbox One is going to launch in Portugal on September. Which I'm just like, well, you're only about a year late. I guess it's better late than never, right? Oh, my God. Anyways, that's going to be it. I'm, as you can see, I'm like already completely rambling mode engaged. I got some more stuff that I need to get done today. So hopefully I'll get that out of the way and get you guys a couple of more cool videos for you to see. As per usual, leave me your comments, feedback, all that kinds of good stuff in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.